Welcome to the Weekly Gaming Blast, the podcast that brings you the latest gaming news unhinged. I'm Akibana Zero.
And I am RTG. Hello.
How's it going, you handsome man, you?
Why, thank you. I have redyed my hair. It is very red again, which I like.
I've noticed.
That's my aesthetic is red hair now. That's just me. That's how I'm gonna live from now on. Yes, I'm very good. I've been very busy. I can't wait to get to the games we've been playing this week because I've been playing a lot.
Oh yes,
quite a few different games as well, of varying different whether I like them or not. They fall very differently on the scale as to whether I think they are good or not. But yes, I'm very well. It's been raining down here though, so I haven't been able to get out and do very much, which is unfortunate. That means I've had to stay in and play video games. Oh, woe is me.
First world problems, hashtag
yes.
Right over there. Yeah.
In fact, the curses of having to stay in and play video games. How have you been?
I would say that for my current family status, I've been playing a lot of games, and by a lot of games I mean two, and the one we actually played it together, and that was Under Night in Birth, live on stream and everything. The other one has been still Skyrim on Switch. And, yeah, I'm still really much into it, although I'm just only seemingly playing it in 15-minute bursts, which is not going to get me very far fast, so to speak.
I don't know, Skyrim is kind of orchestrated that you can actually do something in 15 minutes.
Oh, I always feel like I'm getting somewhere and I'm doing something. The thing is that you're kind of like, okay, I want to get to the next thing, and then it's like, oh shit, I have to change the baby now. Oh shit, the baby's awake again. Oh shit. I have to put the Switch down. But the Switch is a blessing in that regard. It so is a blessing. I could just take the damn thing wherever I want.
Well, I have seen that you've been on the Switch whenever I've been on the Switch.
Yeah, that's so odd. And the worst thing is that we can't even, like, say a hey to each other or anything.
Because Nintendo's online interfaces! Yeah! Yeah, so I've been playing, I can mention them now, but I can't talk about them yet. Embargo's still enforcing me. But I've been playing Bayonetta 1 and 2 on Switch. I can't talk about them at the moment, but my review for Bayonetta 1 is up tomorrow evening, and my review for Bayonetta 2 is up the following evening. So both will be out before the release of the two games. I've also been playing Under Night in Birth, EXE latest, with your fine self, along with playing it on my own a fair bit, actually. Dragon Ball FighterZ is now very much not in my console anymore.
Why is that?
Because I've been playing Under Night.
You have the disc. That's...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I thought you deleted it or something.
And the other game I've been playing, and this is where, because like Under Night in Birth, way up on the good, I love it, end of the spectrum. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I've been playing Knack.
Oh,
that game is infuriating. I'm not sure whether it's because it's not aimed at me. I'm not sure whether it's because I don't necessarily get it, but for me the combat and controls of that game are so horrifically bad, and that is counterbalanced by the fact that, look, to use an example, you're going up against an enemy. You have a certain radius in which you can hit with, unless you're using special attacks. Let's just say you don't have any energy to use a special attack and you're up against a normal enemy. Your range is very short. Your dash is not invincible. So in other words, your evade is not invincible. And also, if you are, I don't know, if you do 2 hits and then realise you're about to be attacked and then dodge, that dodge isn't going to avoid anything, because the dodge will come out later than it should do, because it waits until Knack is completely back to normal, then dodges.
Oh, Jesus.
Rather than, okay, I've got a couple of hits in, I want to dodge back out. No. You've got a couple of hits in, you're screwed now. you're going to get hit by this next thing, and that next thing is obviously going to do 2/3 of your health bar because, and it's so inconceivably bad in terms of combat.
It sounds almost like a bad joke.
It is. I mean, it doesn't help. I will warrant it doesn't help that the other game I've been playing recently is Bayonetta, which has perfect combat.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who's played the original on PS3 and Xbox 360 will be able to validate me on that anyway, or the Wii U version even. The combat in terms of dodging, getting back in, doing damage, backing off, going back in is fluid. Knack is janky and horrible.
So janky and horrible, it required a sequel.
Yeah, apparently. Also, I mean, as other kind of minor complaints, because the thing I'm finding most egregiously bad about Knack is the combat and controls, which seem to have a weird delay on everything you do, which is just ridiculous. But other minor niggles, the story is awful. I mean, I'm pretty sure the game's not aimed at me. I'm pretty sure it's aimed at kids. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the idea. So the story is kid level. Oh. But the thing is, it's kid level in the patronizing kid level. So in other words, it is very much kid level. It's not like, to use a exact opposite, it's not like a Pixar film where it's aimed at children, but it's not patronizing the children. It's talking to the children as kind of equals rather than talking down to them. Knack is talking down constantly, and as an adult, I'm like, I'm 30 fucking 2. Don't treat me like an idiot who cannot follow this story that's basically been written by in crayon by a 3-year-old on the bathroom wall. Don't patronize me.
Oh dear God.
And the other issue I have is that Knack is not a well enough written or deep enough character to carry the game as the protagonist. He's just not. Likeable, maybe, but I think they were concentrating far too much on making the story about the human counterparts and not Knack. That Knack's just been given no characterization, no fleshing out at all. Therefore, he's not a decent protagonist either. So I'm left with this game that's very frustrating, boring, and yet I'm still playing it. And I'll tell you for why. There's one thing this game has that's keeping me going. There are crates hidden in each level that have little parts that come out. And those parts, once you get all of the parts, form a new device. So like a device that helps you find hidden walls, or a device that helps you find hidden stuff. But the thing about this that I like, and the reason why I've kept going with it, is because when you open this chest, it gives you an item. However, it then puts that item up on a separate menu and gives you a choice between the item you just got out of the box and the item your friends who have played the game also got out of the same box.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
So let's just say you've got one piece you need left for a particular device. You didn't get it out of the box, but your friend did. You can choose theirs, and therefore you can complete the device. Which I like. I like that thing, and that's the only thing keeping me going. I want to find those damn crates. It's the loot box thing, just on a no money paying thing. But yeah, the game's completely insufferable. I can't wait to be done with it. But I want to finish it because I want to review it, and I will not give it the best review. I just want to write negatively about it, and I don't feel with Knack that I can until I finish it. Some games I can play it for, I don't know, about 10, 20, 30 hours, and I have a decent enough idea about my feelings about the game. Knack, I'm still in this really weird thing where I hate so many things about it, and yet I'm still going, so therefore there must be good in it.
Well, you managed to go on about it for about 5 minutes, so
yeah. See?
So, yeah, I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, I've heard things about Knack that it's bad, but for some reason it's keeping people going. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the game is just made in such a way that it's trolly and at the same time engages you. It's weird that I say that, but yeah. It's the free game on PSN right now, right? That's why you're playing it, more or less.
It's one of the free games on PSN, along with Rhyme, which is very good, and I would thoroughly recommend people play that.
I want to give Rhyme a go. If I have time.
Tis very good. Tis very good.
Time willing, of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, time willing is an issue.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I, just like yourself, I've enjoyed Unist a lot. Under Night in Birth, Exit Latest, which is a mouthful. I have to say that game has impressed me a lot. I'm always thinking about it these days because it's. I don't know. I feel like the game is a pretty perfect mix of what makes anime fighters so awesome and what makes Street Fighter so awesome, and in one shell. And it's such a shame that there are not a lot of people who are aware of this game or are willing to play it, because either they're Street Fighter players and they see it as an anime game, or it's anime players who are seeing it a little bit too much like Street Fighter. Guys, it's a very perfect mix of these two. I'm not saying the game is perfect at all. I'm pretty sure there's things about it that you can complain about, but so far it seems that it's got the single player content to keep you engaged. It's got really good tutorials and missions. All of the combos, from what I've read from other people who know the game better, say are perfectly viable, which is something that other fighting games aren't doing well. It's got a robust training mode. It's got unlockables. It does the whole loot boxes without paying for loot boxes right. And without loot boxes, basically, you could just buy the colors you want or buy the stuff that you want with the in-game currency. And the best thing of all, you get in-game currency by doing everything in the game. Everything. We got, like, what, 14,000 IP from just playing each other for, like, a couple of hours?
Yeah, I think it was an hour and a half's worth of games, and we got 14,000 IP, which is... That's if you were to only spend that on colors... 14,000 is 7 colors. Yeah.
And that's playing lobby games. I've played lots of lobby games of Street Fighter 5. I haven't seen a single fight money, a single piece of fight money. Nothing.
Or experience.
Or experience. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Which is ridiculous to me. Right. So let's kick off with the show. And oddly enough, we don't really have anything controversial to talk about today. Last week didn't see that many controversies or anything that was worth mentioning, so to speak, aside from Logan Paul tasering a dead rat, but that's not even video game related, so we're not going to touch on it.
Let's not.
No.
Let's leave that cretin where he belongs.
Wait, what is the expression you use here in England? That bellend.
Yes.
Bellend, okay.
You've only just learned... Wait, was it from me you learned that? Because if so, I feel quite proud.
I've learned it from you, but I've been reaffirmed about it from my colleagues. Like, one of my colleagues came up to me and told me, like, in my ear about one of the students that was in the class, so that guy's a freaking bellend. And I was like, okay, I gotta really absorb this word. It seems to have the right punch to it.
Yeah, it's one of the, like, English... like British swear words that has potency, because quite a lot of British swear words are a little bit soft.
Yeah.
But that one, because it starts with a really strong consonant, it literally just flows so nicely after that. It's a great word. Yeah. And I use it way too much.
Yeah, and it resonates a lot with my Greek side, because I like potent swear words like that. Right. There is a controversial topic that popped up just today, thanks to Jim Sterling has prophesized it once more, but we're not going to talk about it yet right now because we want to see what happens, because it's fresh out of the oven. Let's let it, cool off a little bit and see what people have to say about it first, and then we'll get into it. So let's dive into the news bites, and let's begin with the reveal that is both exciting for some, but extremely aggravating for me, and that is that Blanka has been revealed for Street Fighter V. Which we knew about anyway, that he was coming, because finally Capcom decided to just tell us who all the characters are going to be this year, but that doesn't make it any better for me, because Blanka, if there's one character I hate more than Rashid, a character that I hate more than Laura, is always going to be Blanka. trolliest Street Fighter character ever.
My only kind of weird thought I had about this, I have other thoughts about this, but this has come very soon after Sakura.
Indeed. February 20th he's coming out.
Which is a lot shorter gap than we normally have between DLC characters for Street Fighter V. So could we assume that they're trying to get them out by Evo?
That would be great, first of all, because it means I get Cody a lot sooner. So it could mean, one, that they are going to try and give us a character every month up until Evo, which is good for the esports aspect of it all, because it means that everybody gets their hands on the characters before halfway through the Pro Tour, which is always a good thing. Or second, it could be that Sakura came in later, because Akuma was given to us in December of 2016. So Sakura came in January, which was about a month later than Akuma did. So it's possible that they already were working on Blanca and Sakura was just not ready yet.
Possible.
So maybe we're still on that same timeline, but you know, it kind of worked out this way. But they haven't said anything if they've changed the timeline or not. So maybe they just don't want to commit to something.
I guess we'll see. I mean, if Falk is the next character, isn't it?
Falke, yes.
If she ends up being out in March, then we know that's what they're gunning for.
Yeah.
We know they're gunning for Evo, having all the characters out. Because that would also give them enough time, which this is Capcom, so chances are maybe not, but it also gives them time to rebalance it if it needs rebalancing before Evo.
Yeah, that is true.
Because we don't know. I mean, Sakura has a few bits that I don't know whether they've been ironed out yet, like the reach of her V-skill grab being further than her model. Which
no, they haven't changed that.
Yeah, so there's still things that need to be ironed out with Sakura. Blanca is probably going to be a total mess when he comes out, because watching that gameplay trailer, I'm like, he is going to annoy a lot of people. And made even worse by the fact that he has that story mode costume, which I personally adore. But that's going to make him even more trolly, because he's not only going to be trolly to play against, but also trolly in terms of how he looks.
Yeah, that story mode costume is amazing. It's a great idea. I wish they would do this with more characters now. Plushy form character costumes for everybody. Why not? Why not?
I would love a plushy form, Ed.
Absolutely, why not?
You bring it.
Bring it, yeah.
And also his battle costume is quite reminiscent of the kind of weird feather one he had in Ultra.
Yeah. The animalistic.
Although it does look a lot less BS than the feather one, because the feather one messed with his hurt boxes and hit boxes and everything, and just made him a tremendous ass to fight against. But it looks like they've not gone so OTT with the battle costumes, so that's good. And then obviously he has a nostalgia costume, which makes him look like
Blanca.
Street Fighter 2 Blanca, which given the fact that Street Fighter 5 Blanca looks as cool as he does, why the hell would anyone want the nostalgia costume? Because he does look really cool.
Yeah, I agree. But that's the thing, is that this has been the comment from some people, is like, why are we getting less hair on characters as a costume? Like, because they did the same thing with Akuma, right? We went from a Mufasa Akuma, we went to normal Akuma with his nostalgia costume, which means less hair. It's just absolutely hilarious to me.
Wait, as a really weird comparison, does that... and bear in mind, before I say this is a very weird comparison. Does this make Street Fighter V the Goblet of Fire of the Street Fighter series? Because, you know, in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, everyone had long hair for some reason. But they had short hair leading up to that film, and then after that film, they had short hair. There was just this one film where everyone had long hair. Street Fighter V is the Goblet of Fire of Street Fighter.
There, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Quote the Weekly Gaming Blast for that.
But it's quite incredible. Like, that you're totally right. They do get less hair with the nostalgia costumes. It is almost as if they've just given everyone more hair in this game, and they really have. Ken has more hair.
Yeah. Ugly hair.
Yeah, well, yeah, banana hair. But more hair nonetheless. Blanca has more hair. Yorian has the same. Maybe this doesn't work for everyone.
No, it doesn't work for everyone, and thank God not for the women.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be fair, I'm going to give him a shot. He looks fun.
I don't understand why they gave him a command grab. I don't understand why he has both corpse hop and a command grab. I am very triggered. Very, very freaking triggered by that.
We will see. Well, chances are I'm never going to fight one.
Well, see, here's the thing. Blanca is not traditionally considered a good character. The thing about Blanca in Street Fighter 4, though, was that online, he was a nightmare. Because of lag, Blanca has that little thing called corpse hop where he jumps over you when you're knocked down. And it kind of creates a very pseudo mix-up kind of situation. In a normal fight where frames are static, they don't change because of lag, you can actually poke your way out of that. He's not really going to be able to do much from it. But online, it's very easy for a minuscule of lag to create a huge problem for you when he corpse hops on top of you while you're knocked down. So this could be mitigated by Street Fighter V's wake-up mechanics. But at the same time, it's like he also has a command grab, which means that he has a grab that you cannot break. The only option you have is to jab out of it. But what if the lag gets you there and he command grabs you and then knocks you down again, corpse hops on top of you again? It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. And also, one last thing I have to point out about Blanca. His VT2. The verticality of his VT2.
Oh, yeah.
Or potential verticality. I almost thought I was watching Marvel.
I thought I was watching Arcana Heart, to be honest with you.
Because that's more verticality than I'm used to from Street Fighter V. So, and this is a comparison I heard that I totally agree with, and I wonder whether it was intentional from Capcom. His VT2 is very John Talbane.
Quite so.
From Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers. Quite a similar sort of mechanic. So I wonder whether that was intentional.
I wonder too as well, because yeah, it's very like now that you say that, it is definitely reminiscent of that. Basically, Blanca's V-Trigger 2 makes him chain his Blanca balls, and he can direct them anywhere he wants. As he chains, he can climb up the vertical space of a stage, which is very anime and particularly Arcana Hardy, because Arcana Heart is very known for its verticality in its combos. So yeah, that is kind of also what John Talbane does in Darkstalkers. So yeah, maybe that's a bit of a nod there, or maybe the inspiration came from that. I could dig that.
I could totally dig a John Talbane outfit for Blanca.
Yeah. You know what else I can dig? This next news piece you're going to tell us about.
I'm not as sure about this as you are. Bandai Namco have been confirmed to be the developers behind Metroid Prime 4. For a long time, we didn't know. We knew it was coming. It was announced at E3 last year. Well, announced. It was very, very, very much teased at last year's E3. But we didn't know what developer was behind it, and it's now been confirmed to be Bandai Namco. I'm not sure about this. I don't know. Call me a stickler for it, but I would much rather Retro do it because it's Metroid Prime.
That's fair, yeah. And I mean, we do have a bit of a history with other studios taking over the Metroid games, and like Other M, and like not really making good on the games.
Or Other M, Federation Force.
Yeah.
I mean, what this comes down to, I think, with me, is whether Metroid Prime 4 follows on from Metroid Prime Corruption. If it does, and if they're putting it as part of the Metroid Prime kind of story, then I really would rather Retro do it. Because they started it. I'd rather see them finish it. I mean, Bandai Namco, they're great. I mean, they're the publisher of like one of my favorite games of all time. So, and also they were heavily involved, as we know, in Dragon Ball Fighters, which is a fantastic game. But I know I'm more tentative now than I was.
Right. Well, I can see why you have like this view, but on the other hand, I mean, what is retro making these days?
I don't know.
That's one thing, and there's the other thing is that Bandai Namco has kind of been on a roll. They've been releasing some really good stuff. Tekken 7 is what springs to mind immediately, and so does Soul Calibur 6. Which is looking really, really sharp as well. Dragon Ball Fighters, they published that. They didn't develop it. What else are we looking at from Bandai Namco? We're looking at some really lots of stuff from Bandai Namco. They seem to be on a huge roll. They want to really bring out a lot of stuff out there. So them getting such a huge title, and a hugely expected title, I'm pretty sure they've got something that they feel like they can make this work. We'll have to see.
I hope so. I want to see Metroid Prime 4 do well, especially seeing as Samus has been not very well treated the last kind of 5 years or so, maybe longer. Probably much longer.
I just want to see the Metroid franchise come back to life. I want to see the Metroid franchise come back the way it was supposed to, and get more Metroid games. Samus Returns was according to you, an amazing return to form. Hopefully Prime 4 really brings that home.
But the problem with it, though, is because it was a remaster. This is a whole new game, and the last couple, I mean, I'm a massive Metroid fan, and the last two new games we've had in the Metroid series have been awful.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so yeah. Come on, Bandai. Prove me wrong. You've proved me wrong before, prove me wrong again.
Yeah, make us want it, really. That's for sure. Something, speaking of wanting, we know that people have been clamoring to find out what the hell is going on with My Nintendo, particularly when it comes to Switch. And if you only own a Switch up until now, you weren't able to make use of your My Nintendo silver and gold coins. It was like, okay, and they were also expiring next month. It is, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah, but now Nintendo finally is telling us what we can do. That is making their My Nintendo stuff finally viable. Like, as we are at the brink of having our coins expire.
They took their time with this.
Yeah.
I mean, the Switch has been out almost a year. It's a year next month, and it's taken them until it's been out a year, because bear in mind, the new changes for My Nintendo come out next month. It's taken them a year of the console being out for them to stop making My Nintendo tied to Wii U. Because it was originally Wii U and 3DS, and even that, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
What they're proposing doing now, what it seems like they're doing now, is that the My Nintendo points now can be redeemed against eShop purchases, which will mean that that's going to be a whole host of new games I end up getting on Switch. Because there's been a few games that are on Switch that I'm like, should I get them on Switch? Should I get them on PS4? And now I might as well just wait and get them on Switch, depending on how this balances out. Because like Owlboy is out today, I believe. And I want to play that, but I'll just wait. Night in the Woods as well, I need to get. And I'd rather get that on the Switch so I can play that on the go. Yeah, just... why is it taking you a year?
Why? Yeah, that's definitely a big question, and that's something I've been seeing it in the Nintendo Switch subreddit. A lot of people have been really clamoring for this for months now. Like, what the heck is going on with My Nintendo points? I remember checking the website a few times to see what's going on, and it's like, I have all these points, they're gonna expire. What am I gonna do with it? I don't have a 3DS, I don't have a Wii U. What gives, Nintendo? But apparently we can do things now with it. What is it like? You do need to buy several games in order to say, like, I can I can get a hefty I can buy a whole game with my Nintendo points, but
I'm pretty sure it just works as a kind of currency.
Yeah.
Which is good, and they should have done that ages ago. Even for the Wii U and 3DS, they should have done that ages ago. Because the Wii U and 3DS things were, you can get a voucher for 30% off this game. It's just like, that's pathetic. And it makes Club Nintendo look great, which a lot of people had a lot of issues with. Which, with good bloody reason. Just Nintendo, you do so many things right, but then there's certain things.
Baby steps.
Yeah, that you do. There's just certain things that you do so wrong. Which segues very neatly into Niantic doing things wrong.
Ooh.
So, Pokemon Go. There are probably still 2 or 3 people playing that. So, they've recently released the Gen 3 Pokemon,
yes.
I believe, or some of the Gen 3 Pokemon.
Always some.
And they've changed the way that the raids work, and they've changed the way that the events work, and they don't seem to know what they're doing, which is understandable because they don't. They're a small developer, but the thing is, they're biting off more than they can chew. Rather than sorting out the base and then building up once the base is sorted, they're going, okay, no, that's fine, we'll leave it like that, and then putting additional stuff on top of it. It's like taking out all of the lower bricks on a Jenga.
Yeah, that is that. I don't think I could make a better metaphor than that. See, the thing about me and Pokemon Go is that I did try it and I had high hopes for this. The problem is that I think, first of all, it all started with the timing. And it started with the timing when it came to, like, the technology behind this, okay? Nintendo, Game Freak chose this indie developer, this tiny developer, which had a really cool idea, really cool tech for an AR game, to deliver this. And yeah, sure, it instilled more confidence back into the Nintendo brand as a side effect for Nintendo. But how can you trust something so huge as Pokemon to Niantic? No offense to them, I mean, they're making really good use of AR technology. It's just, you're not ready for this. And now they want to take on Harry Potter on top of that?
Yeah,
come on, people.
That's even more insulting. They need to sort out the issues Go has before Harry Potter. Especially seeing as there's already another company that's bringing out another Harry Potter game on mobile quite soon, actually, that looks better than Go by a significant portion. So you've already got a competitor out there.
And that's a pretty big deal, because if there is a competitor and people want their Harry Potter game on their phone, they're going to pick the one that looks better and acts better, you know? Perfect the technology, perfect the game. Because, see, that's the thing that always bugged me about Pokemon Go. It's not a game. It doesn't feel like a game in any way. It's supposed to feel like a game. It's so stupid that I got people around me playing this game. You want us to interact with each other from this game in the real world. Why can't I battle with someone? Why can't I trade with someone? Why can't I do something with people in the real world and socialize with them through this game? Explain that to me. We're gotten into a rant over this, but obviously Niantic is still trying to keep this game alive, even though, I don't know, is it the whales that are keeping it alive? Is it the people that just like walking around and using it as a glorified pedometer? I don't know. But let this stupid thing die already, seriously. It was a terrible idea from the get-go. It's a great idea on paper, but without the technology and the right gaming mind behind it, it will fail, as it has. It's failed now, guys. It's done. It's over. It was a fad. Nobody took advantage of the fad properly. And that's what happened. End of story.
And you are right. It's a lack of features that's causing it so much hassle now. It just hasn't lived up to the potential of what it could have been, and that's the reason a lot of people have stopped playing it.
Exactly. And what? You're only giving me a few of the Gen 3 Pokemon, a few of the Gen 2 Pokemon. A few? Really? Is it that big of a problem? There's no fighting in this game. There's no balance problems in this game. Balance only affects things like raids and gym battles, and those aren't really that great anyway. Give us all of the Pokemon. Like, if you gave all of those Pokemon, that would be great. Not that art for Pokemon is that difficult to make, right?
It already exists.
It already exists, exactly. You have the rights from Game Freak. Any Hoosers.
Mic drop. On we go.
Boop. Right over there. Right over there. Well, I don't want to claim that I know how these things work, right? But honestly, I mean, if they wanted to keep this game alive, they would find a way, right? I'm just saying, right? Just saying. And that's what exactly Capcom Vancouver has told some of its employees. We're just saying, you gotta go. That was a terrible segue, but yeah,
it worked.
It worked, yeah. But what is also terrible is that people have lost their jobs, which means that the new Dead Rising game that they were working on is reduced in scope, and of course also an unannounced project has been cancelled.
If that was Rival Schools, I will go to Capcom myself and bitch slap a lot of them.
They'll burn it to the ground. Nah.
I totally would.
We would have heard.
Don't you dare cancel a Rival Schools game.
We would have heard if it was Rival Schools, I'm pretty sure. They were working on...
Or Dino Crisis.
Oh my god, I know that there's gonna be a riot over that if that were true. Yeah. 'Tis how it goes.
It's a shame. It is a massive shame. But in all fairness, if we're being really brutal about it, Capcom have really brought this on themselves. Between their mismanagement of Street Fighter V and their severe mismanagement of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and those two being their two biggest fighting game franchises that they currently have on the books, they had to get that money. They had to make up for those losses somehow. But that's not the fault of Capcom Vancouver.
No, that's not Capcom Vancouver's fault. And they're obviously working on some single-player stuff, including Dead Rising, which, if it's reduced in scope, that's going to have some of the fans of this series pretty much very disappointed. Because I know that it's been a while since the last Dead Rising, and I know some people are really clamoring for a new one, so... I kind of that's kind of like very disappointing. I'll have to agree, but it could also signify that Capcom really isn't making a lot of money these days. Although
all those Chun costumes aren't getting them quite the amount of money they needed.
No. But Monster Hunter World sold like hotcakes, man. It sold so good, 6 million copies. All around the world, digital. No, was it physical or digital or both? I'm not sure. But yeah, 6 million copies for a Monster Hunter game across the world. Bananas. Okay.
However, we need to take into account whenever you think, because 6 million, that's high, but you need to take into account the balance of those sales figures and how much they become in terms of net income, and how much they spent on marketing, because they really did go for it with the marketing. So if the marketing is too high, it would end up slicing a decent portion off that net income.
That's true.
Because that, in all fairness, I cannot fault their marketing. The marketing of Monster Hunter Worlds was perfect.
It was perfect. It was flawless. I thought they did a really great job marketing that game, and it paid off, obviously. Now Monster Hunter is probably gonna be a phenomenon beyond the borders of Japan. And that's an amazing thing. Because Monster Hunter deserves to be a much bigger game, in my opinion, even though you probably don't agree with me on that.
Just because I don't like Monster Hunter doesn't mean I don't appreciate it as what it is and what other people see in it. I think you're nuts, but I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, we can't discount the fact that the new Dead Rising reducing in scope could be a good thing for the game. Sure, it sounds like a bad thing, but let's just say this is the best case scenario. The reducing scope means that it becomes a tighter and more refined experience. That's a possibility. Because if you look at certain games that came out last year that didn't have like massive budgets, they're all tighter and more refined experiences. So like Senua's Sacrifice, yeah. Hellblade, comes to mind as a very tight but refined experience that didn't have a massive budget. So it could potentially turn out that the reduction in scope for the new Dead Rising could end up being a fantastic thing for the series, because the first Dead Rising game didn't have a massive scope, but because they owned that setting and because they owned that mechanical kind of invention they came up with, it worked. It worked perfectly well. They could use this isolated single environment. They could use this mechanically simple setup. They could use this very, very simple, very B-movie storyline, because all of that adds together, because it was all refined so neatly and put together so cleanly. So it could end up being a great thing for the game. Could.
Well, that's a very good point that you're putting out there, but there's one thing I'd like to remind people, is that Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, was sold at $30. Will Dead Rising come out at $30? It's AAA.
That's definitely a rant for another day.
Yes, exactly.
Is it not?
It is indeed.
While we're still on AAA though, a game that, in all fairness, I didn't think did that well. I'm pretty sure the sales figures weren't that great, but The Surge, it's getting a sequel.
The Surge. Okay, now I'm gonna have to be honest about something here. I need to see what the heck this is. The Surge.
The Surge, if you think of the Gears of War style setting, so the industrial metal technology, that setting.
Yeah.
And then slide over the top of that several Dark Souls style mechanics.
Oh, it's that game. Okay.
And you've got The Surge. Yes. From what I heard, I mean, from everything I saw about The Surge and everything, and what put me off of it is the fact that it looked like it was trying too hard to be Souls. And I've been burned by a game like that before, with Lords of the Fallen, which was an abominable piece of shite.
Oh god, that was terrible. That game was terrible. Freaking terrible.
Terrible. But The Surge looked like, once again, it was trying too hard, so I was put off it. But I'm actually very tempted to go back and try it now that they're making a sequel. Because I did hear there was some very interesting little mechanical differences. Like the fact you could target particular bits of armor you wanted, and you could shoot those off. In a very sort of Dead Space necromorph dismemberment style thing. I love how gaming's now reached a kind of critical mass where you can describe anything by relaying it to another game that's existed before.
Exactly.
We've reached critical mass in gaming. But yeah, the fact that Surge 2 has been announced, good. We need enough. We need more games, and we need more good games. And I cannot remember. You've probably got the wiki up now. Who made The Surge?
Wait, because I turned to Google Images to see some screenshots. Let me see who made The Surge. Developer is Deck 13.
What the publisher was?
Publisher's Focus Home Interactive.
Okay, so it was essentially, it wasn't big studios that made it.
Deck 13 actually made Lords of the Fallen.
Oh, that's where Lords of the Fallen came into my head when I was comparing it. Yeah. And in all fairness, they've got to have learnt something. Lords of the Fallen was not very well received. The Surge was better received. So they're only going to improve? Surely.
I don't know any of these games. Ank? And apparently they've made more than one of these. and Jack Keen and Venetica, and what the heck are these Blood Knights? Ooh.
I've not heard of any of those.
I'm looking at Deck 13 right now. I mean, they have a nice array of titles that they made, but okay, who knows, right? Well, I might check out the Surge then, since they're making a second one. Must mean they're confident in the series. But if it means they're as confident as I was with Ankh, and I have no idea what Ankh is, I don't know what that means. I do know what something else means, though. And that is that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer for Injustice 2 is out, and that basically means I'm gonna sit here and stew, because there is no way I could justify buying another fighting game right now. Because I really love the idea of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being in Injustice. Oh, God. Why?
I love that your thoughts on this trailer are exactly the same as mine. I can't justify another fighting game, but TMNT look awesome.
And you know what the best part is? It's like, it's not like they fight as one character. They're 4 distinct characters that you get depending on the gear that you equip on them. And if you're in competitive mode, where there's no gear, you get to pick which of the 4 turtles you want to play as. It's so good.
And I love the fact their super is all 4 of them attacking at once.
Ending with the shell shot.
Yeah, the shell crush. Love it.
It's
like, and the thing is, they are so authentic. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised with NetherRealm at this point, but they're so authentically done.
They are.
The only time I've seen this sort of guest thing be done better was when Rash from Battletoads was in Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, they did a good job with him,
because that was flawless guest character. There was no way. I've never seen a guest character done as well as Rash was in Killer Instinct. He had every aspect of that character just nailed. But TMNT look fantastic.
They look great.
Absolutely top notch. And they've managed to transfer all of their kind of character traits and personality bits over as well. They all look great. They all do look great.
They look amazing. They've done a great job. Just comes to show also, and, you know, I think Michael Bay and his crew need to take some notes here, is that this is how you make the Ninja Turtles in CGI. Not the top-heavy crap that you made in that movie. This is how you make Ninja Turtles in CGI, okay? And they look great in the dark setting as well of Injustice 2, which, again, another dig at Michael Bay and his crew, because you're all shooting for these dark movies and stuff. They fit just nicely into that, and they can still be wisecracking and flinging pizza and skateboards around it. It's all great. I'm super stoked, and it makes me very jealous that I don't own Injustice 2, and I probably can't justify it at all right now, but I can't even spend any time on another fighting game right now, but I think it's a brilliant idea. I thought it was brilliant when they first revealed it, and I think it's still brilliant now that I've seen them in action. They look great, they play great, they look awesome next to all the other characters. They fit very well, like you said. And on top of that, the quotes they throw at every single different hero. I mean, there's a video for every single one of the interactions between the Turtles and the other characters on YouTube. I'm not going to spoil them for you. Just go ahead and go watch those. Those are a good afternoon for yourself gone like that, because it's worth it.
I just really wish I could buy Injustice 2.
Me too. And it's not been on discount for real, like, ever.
No, not a proper discount. It was discounted, I think, in the lead up to Christmas, but it wasn't discounted by very much. Which is a shame. Well, actually, it's not a shame. It means the game's doing well.
That's true. Which is great. I mean, good for them, right?
Yeah. Another good for them. I don't know whether you're familiar with the work of Don't Nod Studios. If I was to say the game they're known for, you'd know who they were.
Who are they?
Life is Strange.
Ah, okay.
Don't Nod Studios. They have confirmed the date for their next big project, which is called Vampire. It's coming out on the 5th of June. Oh, sorry, my mistake. It's I've just remembered. It's Don't Nod Entertainment, not Don't Nod games.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vampire, it looks very, very interesting. The whole concept behind it is that you're a doctor who's become a vampire, and you have to kind of work your way through this kind of Victorian, well, like I think it's slightly post-Victorian. Yeah, I want to say it's after Queen Victoria died, so it's the early 1900s, and it's set in London, and you're playing this vampiric doctor, and essentially the whole concept of the game is that obviously you have the Hippocratic oath as a doctor to preserve life, but also you're a vampire, which kind of contravenes that oath, but you can actually get through the entire game without killing anyone.
Ooh.
So they're clearly doing the very good narrative thing that Don't Nod Entertainment are good at, because there's dialogue options, and you can level up the character, and there's weapons and supernatural abilities that you can use in the combat, and it's kind of it's not, I don't think it's fully open world. I think it's kind of it is open world in concept, but I don't think it's open world in execution. It's large, but it's not like Ubisoft. But this game sounds incredible. I really want to play this game.
Yeah, it looks really, really interesting, and I like that idea, that juxtaposition between the, like, that conflict that you have. Like, you're a doctor with a Hippocratic oath, on the other hand, you're a vampire, and it's like, oh, that sounds like a crazy concept to me, and I hope the story really like sends you for a loop. I mean, because Don't Nod really, like, I played a little bit of Life is Strange, and the storytelling is really top notch in that game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this turns out like. It's gonna be more actiony, I assume, compared to Life is Strange, right?
It does sound so.
All right.
Because well, the thing is, there's a massive tonal shift between the two. Life is Strange, albeit it dealt with some very dark issues, but it was a very bright and vibrant game. This appears to be doing exactly the opposite. This is very dark and brooding from the outset. And, you know, like, early June is bad enough for me as it is for games, let alone adding another one on top of it. But I don't think this is a game I can miss.
I don't think so either. I love the tone. Like, the screenshots look amazing. We'll have to see. I'm definitely down for that. I'm pretty sure you're also down for this next little bit of news, which is Splatoon 2. New Splatoon 2 amiibo figures confirmed for this year. There are 2 of them, right?
There are. Pearl and Marina.
Yeah, and they look really cool.
They do look really cool. And there's something I read, and I need to confirm that this is true or not. But apparently, the amiibo are going to be not kind of static plastic like the amiibo normally are. They're going to be... I really hope I read this right and this wasn't a troll. They're going to be squidgy like a squid would be.
Ooh.
They're going to have that sort of texture, which they've done before. The Metroid was squidgy.
Okay.
If you ever saw the Metroid amiibo, that was squidgy. So with any luck, could happen. We would have to see. I have no idea. But it looks interesting. And I'm really interested to see what happens when this comes out. What because usually the amiibo, when they're released, they have some sort of feature in the game itself that you can use. So I wonder what the Pearl and Marina ones are going to do in Splatoon 2, if they do anything.
We'll have to see. I mean, you know better than me. I don't play the game right now, so you probably know better than I do. Hopefully, though, they do some interesting stuff, and I really like what you're saying, that they are a little more squidgy and stuff. That could be pretty cool. But let's see, what else could be pretty cool? Could you tell us about these Valentine's events for Fortnite and Brawlhalla?
Yeah, so, well, time of recording, it's Pancake Day, which is the best day of the year. But tomorrow, at time of recording, is Valentine's. So obviously some of the more, shall we say, online games are doing little Valentine's events, which are very,
Live
very
services.
nice. Don't even. The two ones that I want to really focus on, because they're the two that I seem to be going so overboard with it, are Fortnite and Brawlhalla. So starting with Brawlhalla, because it's the game that both Akabana and me know very, very well, whereas Fortnite, I think you have played it enough to hate it.
Yeah.
And I just won't play it at all. So yeah, Brawlhalla has the Valhallentines event. I love their puns when they do events. It's very, very clever.
I love that name.
Of which they've brought out new skins for seven characters. Yeah, so new skins for 7 characters that are limited time only and are all kind of love themed in some description. Of which some of them are cute, some of them are a bit bland. But then again, that's the issue I have with Brawlhalla in general, that sometimes the character designs can be a bit bland and sometimes they are interesting, so it all depends on the character. They've added kind of a love kind of themed colour palette for every character that can be purchased in the store with gold, as opposed to mammoth coins, which is the premium currency. You can actually buy it with in-game gold. And also for the time of the whole event, if you there's daily login bonuses and it doubles the daily login bonus.
Nice.
I think. Yeah, it gives you additional gold each day you log in, which is great, and that's fantastic. As well as that, there's a couple of other things, like there's a new podium that has a love heart on it and is gold, and it just looks so gaudy and over the top. There's a new KO effect that has little cherubs coming out. I know, like they have put a lot of kind of thought into the ludicrous nature of this event. I mean, I'm just so gutted there's no Mirage. Not Mirage. Mirage is the character you play. Nyx. There's no Nyx stuff. There's a Mirage one. The Mirage, what's its name? Something... I know it begins with Heart, but I can't remember what the rest of it is. Heart something Mirage is the name of the skin. And that looks really cute with little heart sunglasses up on her forehead and stuff. Yeah, it's cute. And that's the whole point of it. It's supposed to be cute. So, yeah. So that's Valhallentines, as stupid as that sounds to say it out loud, but I just love the puns. And Fortnite is doing something very, very similar. It doesn't have a stupid pun name like Brawlhalla, but it's pretty much doing the same thing. It's got a new weapon that is a crossbow, because, you know, Cupid.
Yeah.
As well as skins for characters that make them relatively love themed, like a kind of pink teddy bear with a heart on its stomach and stuff like that.
Like a Care Bear.
Yeah, like kind of like a really. If you think a Care Bear that's spent one night at Freddy's, you've got how this thing looks, but which is great, to be fair. But like, it's utterly ludicrous. But it's just beautiful that these online games are doing events like this, and making them so accessible and so easy for players to get involved with. Because like the colours in Brawlhalla, the colours for the kind of love struck colours, I think they're called, for each character are only 1,500 gold, and you get like 50 to 100 gold every fight. So that's only 15 fights, maybe double that, and you can do 15 fights in about an hour. So to get your character, very, very... And not to mention, you're getting daily bonuses from logging in. Plus, also, you get daily bonuses for using particular characters. And, like, you can very quickly earn enough money to get these colours. But, yeah, I love Valentine's events. I don't like Valentine's Day, but I like it when companies do cute stuff like this.
I always appreciate that. When I played a lot of World of Warcraft, I loved these like little holiday events because it kind of broke the routine of the game and all of that. I'm not really big on them on these other games. Like I didn't partake too much in the ones in Destiny 1 or something like that. But overall, I think they're a good way to get people to, you know, break through those who are engaged with the one single game. It's really nice for breaking up that routine. It keeps people going in, and it kind of shows when they're done right, they show a certain degree of appreciation from the developer. Like, I like what Brawlhalla is doing where it's like, here's a color that you can acquire just by playing the game. And if you want that for your character or the characters that you play, it's very easy for you to get. I feel that's a really nice little piece of appreciation they do for the players there. And it's really great that they're doing that. Very meaningful. And that's the important thing, is that these events need to have meaningful ways for people to acquire the goods from these games. And yeah, both of these events sound really, really, really cool. And hopefully, like, you know, the players appreciate them because, you know, it kind of breaks that monotony. Right. That's going to do it for our news segment. We're going to go into our Big Talk segment right now, and I'm not going to say that it's exactly like our usual Big Talks. It's more like an extended, let's say, news bite, and that is for none other than the announcement of the EVO 2018 game lineup. And boy, oh boy, has it been a talking point these past few days. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to name out the games that have been announced officially for EVO 2018. Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, or Super Smash 4 if you want to call it that way, Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2, Injustice 2, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Super Smash Melee. And finally...
Did you say Cross Tag Battle?
And finally, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Oof. This is interesting because I don't know if you've gotten it, dear listener, but what is absent from this lineup is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And I don't say this to be inflammatory in any way, although at the same time it amuses me to no end that the game that people were expecting to have at EVO is not there. It is very, very sad. Particularly considering that there are 2 Smash games. And even though I'm expecting this game like no other right now, I think Cross Tag Battle being in, and it's not even out yet, is kind of weird over Marvel Infinite. Let me get your thoughts on this, RTG.
I think it's abominable that Melee's there. I cannot stand that game. And what makes that game worse? And unlike yourself, I don't particularly care about being inflammatory. What makes that game worse are the players of that game, who are some of the most insufferable people I've ever had to be inflicted with the presence of. Literally, I can only think of one group worse at the moment, and I'm not going to kill our entire podcast by naming that group. But it's... You're right, Cross Tag Battle, it's way too early. I would much rather see Central Fiction there. The only reason why I can see that Cross Tag Battle should be there more than Central Fiction is if you've watched the last few Central Fiction tournaments, it's been very samey.
Yes.
Even after the 2.0 launch of Central Fiction, the best players are still the best players. There's not been anyone particularly breaking through. All of the tech is still the same tech. So therefore, if you see a character being played, generally they're going to be played the same as they've always been played in Central Fiction. So the originality and the excitement's not there. I must admit, Central Fiction went from being one of my favourite tournaments at EVO last year, Evo US last year, to one of my least favourite that I watched this year at Evo Japan. Just simply because it's the same. There was nothing exciting or new. Whereas Rev 2, like by the time Evo is, we would have already had the balance refinement for Rev 2. Which, if the balance refinement is anything near as big as the refinement that was Rev 2, because bear in mind, Rev 2 wasn't just new characters, it was an entire an entire balance an entire roster rebalancing. I should get that the right way round eventually. It was an entire rebalance. And if the new rebalancing does anywhere near the amount of shifting, the amount of changes that Rev 2 did to Revelator, it's going to be a wildly different experience to watch it again. So Revelator 2 definitely deserves that spot on the Evo lineup. I'm not sure about Cross Tag Battle, simply because it's going to be exciting, it's going to be new, but it's going to be very flush in the pan.
It is.
Depending on, it's not going to get the views, basically, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not going to get the views that, say, Melee will get. Because as much as I hate Melee, as much as I don't think Melee should be on this lineup, Melee gets views.
That is true.
It gets a lot of views. So it deserves to be on that. It deserves to be on the lineup. If we're going on bare facts, that like just the numbers, Melee deserves to be on this lineup more than most of the lineup.
I'll tell you what...
in terms of sheer numbers.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, look, viewership is definitely going to be one thing to focus on, for sure, because we're talking about a live event that depends on its viewership, because it depends on the advertisement. No questions asked here, okay? And also, if Melee is pulling out the numbers they are, congrats to them, that is great. But here's the other thing. When is this game going to get retired from being a headliner somewhere? Because honestly, it's old, and new people are not playing it. We don't see that many. I would assume we don't see that many new faces going out to buy a CRT television just to play this old game, right? So I don't think that a premier event like Evo should be the host of games that are this old. But that's my personal opinion. This is no offense to Melee players out there whatsoever. You guys do you. You're awesome for keeping your scene alive. I respect that. What I don't respect is that, first of all, you made Evo, you made us the players vote for the 2017 roster for Evo. You vote for one game, and the players came out screaming, "We want Marvel." And you included Marvel 3 in last year's lineup. We get a new Marvel game. Okay, it hasn't sold. Okay, it's been rigged on and everything, but you know that the players want this. And you shaft it. You shaft it. I can't help. I'm not a Marvel fan. I enjoy watching Marvel. It's a fun game to watch because other people know how to play it, and it's fun to see the upsets and to see how crazy Yipes gets on the microphone when something crazy happens on screen. But I feel shattered for the people who have been hoping and expecting this. It could have been the moment to see that game finally get some acknowledgement, because despite its appearances, it looks like a very fun game. I don't buy it out of principle because obviously Capcom kind of, didn't really put a lot of heart and effort into it. But apparently the fighting system's fun and inventive, and we could have seen something crazy. It got shafted. Sure, it's going to get a side tournament. It's going to get a side event. Will it get prime time? Stream time, though? No, it's not.
That's the thing. Obviously, anyone who doesn't watch Evo doesn't know this, so we should actually make this clear. Any of the games that we are saying that we would rather be there will very likely have side tournaments at Evo. They will be at Evo in some description. They just won't be the main stage games. That's what we're saying. That's what we're discussing here. So like, I would love King of Fighters 14 because I find that game enthralling to watch.
Yeah.
Same as Killer Instinct as well. But those are going to have side tournaments. They won't be on the main stage. However, I know that we've been talking about what hasn't been on there, but really, if you go through the other games that are on the lineup, they all very much deserve their spots. Injustice 2.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal. Like visually, one thing NRS, they may not be fantastic at their gaming system, like fighting systems, but visually, their games are incredible.
It's going to be a crowd pleaser because it's recognizable. Everybody knows Superman and Batman, all that. Even if somebody randomly tuned in, they'd be like, oh, Batman. That would be great. That's great. Yeah.
Tekken 7.
Yes.
Absolutely. As you mentioned earlier, absolutely phenomenal game. Definitely deserves that slot.
Recognizable as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play the game, but I do find it incredibly enthralling to watch because it's very, very technical. And I find that very fun to watch. It's the same with me in Killer Instinct. I love watching it because it's very technical. Street Fighter V. With the arcade edition release, I think Street Fighter V now more than ever deserves that slot on the main stage.
Yeah.
And then the final one that neither of us have mentioned yet, which surprises me, Dragon Ball FighterZ definitely deserves that slot.
It definitely does.
The numbers that is going to pull in terms of viewership is going to be astounding. Because all you need to do is log on to the game at any point of the day and see how many people are playing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people playing it, despite the network issues that exist right now. But it's a great game, very accessible. I'm pretty sure a lot of people bought it, which means to watch it in tournament is going to pull in lots of numbers. So yeah, definitely deserves that slot. What else?
I'll be very interested to see who the top 8 is going to be of Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh yeah, it's
because I can already guess that Sonic Fox is probably going to win Injustice 2
for sure.
Seeing as he's pretty much the #1 player in the world at NRS games, because he came out on top in Mortal Kombat X and in almost every Injustice 2 tournament. So we can almost guarantee he's either going to win or he will definitely be top 8, more than likely top 4. But Dragon Ball FighterZ, this is a completely unknown quantity.
Yeah, some new people are going to come out into the limelight, and that's exciting stuff. Exciting stuff, which is what you want to see at EVO. I would want to see some people, even though there are recognizable faces playing Marvel Infinite, I would like to see some new faces come out of that. Which, to be fair, is something that we would probably see from Cross Tag Battle as well. And I'm going to reiterate saying this. I am very happy to see Cross Tag Battle there. And I'm also much happier to see that there are 3 ArcSys games on the lineup, which is very exciting because I am particularly rooting for ArcSys to start really, really planting that flag of better developed fighting games compared to some of the other heavy hitters out there. One thing I feel that they're kind of banking on with Cross Tag Battle is that they're going to pull in the numbers from the 4 different franchises, the fans from the 4 different franchises, to come in at least check out what the game is like, at the very least. And it's going to give Ruby fans a reason to watch EVO. That being said, it is a risk, in my opinion. A massive risk. And I won't be surprised if the stream is not that heavily populated when Cross Tag Battle is up there.
Well, I'll be watching.
Oh, I will be.
So that's at least 2 viewers.
Absolutely 2 viewers, yeah. I'm pretty sure you guys here on my channel might want to go watch it as well. Maybe. Yeah, why not? I think EVO's fun. EVO's a great event to watch any of these games, except for Melee. Go watch that stuff, guys, because it's amazing. Melee will just make your eyes bleed.
We could maybe have a discussion on Discord
We could.
A kind of live discussion thread going on Discord
We,
during the Evo tournament.
we could if it's not too late. Absolutely, we could. So yeah, that's the Evo lineup. I mean, overall, it seems good. It's gonna pull in some numbers and all that. Hopefully, Evo's gonna be as hype as it always has been. Okay, and especially Street Fighter V Top 8 is gonna be bananas as always, and it's gonna be great. And Guilty Gear, of course, is gonna be great. Everything, all of these are gonna be great. Hopefully, we're gonna have yet another Evo to remember. Once again,
I would love to see, and I would love to see, Nage is won the Evo Japan Guilty Gear Rev 2 tournament. I would love to see him win the US one as well.
I'm looking forward to that run back between you and me, because it's gonna be a run back.
Because Amito will come back strong, and Momochi is going to come back really strong this year as well. So I'm more hyped for Guilty Gear Rev 2 at Evo than I am for any of the other tournaments.
It's gonna be a strong one. And I feel like this is also going to be a very important Evo America, because we're coming off of Evo Japan. This is very significant right now, because we had some really nice fights in Evo Japan. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people out there, a lot of players who are looking for some really, really salty runbacks in Evo America. So that's going to make things ultra interesting.
Definitely. Like one player I want to see come back and do, if not as well, I want to see him take it, is I want John Takuchi to take it. Street Fighter 5. He played until he was psyched out in the grand final, he was playing so well. I didn't even care that he was playing Rashid. That's how much I was in support of this guy. It transcended my hatred of that character. Well, not hatred. There's characters in that game I hate. Rashid's not one of them. My dislike of the character. I didn't even care who he was playing. I just was so rooting for him to come out on top, because he was just playing so cleanly and so well the whole time. Then he just got psyched out at the end. Infiltration did deserve the win. I adamantly state Infiltration deserved that win. But I was really rooting for Takuchi. Yeah, I'm getting so hyped for Evo already, and it's not for months.
Unfortunately for me, my Evo pick is always and forever going to be Daigo-sama. I'm never going to ever watch an Evo without praying for a Daigo win. That's it. That's what I always do. I cannot change that. I'm always happy to see whoever wins Evo. I was very happy to see Tokido last year win Evo, because he deserved it. He deserved it so much, and he deserved it for years, to be fair. But yeah, Daigo is always my number one at Evo. Until he's knocked out, he's always my number one. Because that's who I associate Evo with. So yeah, I'm a victim of my habits.
It's a very good reason.
Yeah.
I just find that every single tournament I watch, I discover this new, because I'm very new to fighting games, unlike yourself. Every Evo, every major tournament like Capcom Cup and things like that I watch, I discover a new player that I'm like, this guy or this girl is good. I mean, I had it with Ricky Ortiz, with Knuckledoo, with Takido, Infiltration, John Takuchi. There's just so many players I've ended up seeing over the years that I'm just like, oh, this guy is very... Like, I was rooting the whole time at... It was Capcom Cup, wasn't it? For Menaradi.
Yeah.
The whole way through the top 8, I was like, this guy is great. I'm fully... I have no allegiances, basically.
I'm going to basically, though, say that this year, one of my big favorites is Itazan. And that is because he's picked up Abigail, even though I don't like Abigail as a character. I'm pretty sure Itazan can take Abigail to a really, really interesting heights. So his combination of having Itazan and Abigail and Zangief is going to be very interesting this year. So yeah, for the Pro Tour, I'm pretty sure Itazan is gonna show us some amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And he's
And
a great
also,
character.
he is and he's a very likable player.
Yeah.
He's very, very, very that's one thing actually that Evo US needs to learn from Evo Japan. The amount of salt and drama and theatrics was so low at Evo Japan. I know a lot of people do like that. I can't stand it. I find it so cringeworthy because I'm watching it and thinking, stop acting like children. You are bloody adults. Stop it. I find it so like the whole like Wolf Crone gets on my nerves for exactly that. But there was just so much respect and like mutual respect between the players. Even if not when they were fighting, there was some disrespectful fighting going on in terms of the way that some people played the games. But there was just such a respect between the players themselves that I'm going to find Evo Japan very hard to top.
I can agree to that. Yeah.
Just because it was so enjoyable to watch. Because the players were respectful of each other. The commentators were phenomenal for the whole weekend. Even the Street Fighter V commentators were good. And usually I do not like the commentators on Street Fighter V matches because they are always far too player focused as opposed to character and tech focused. And that infuriates me because it's like, I'm a newbie here. Unless you're telling me what's going on the screen, I don't know what's going on the screen. All I see is pretty lights and punches. That's all I see. Whereas if you say, I don't know, oh, that was a whiffed standing fierce, then I know what you're talking about. Or I say, oh, there's some quite good, or like they did during the Guilty Gear Rev 2 tournament. The commentators for that were absolutely flawless. And they were just saying, such and such a character has very good tech in Rev 2 in which they can follow on from a blank. And that I can take away and go, I know that now. I can use that now. And for me as a new player, I know that obviously Evo isn't aimed at newbies. It's aimed at people that are like mainstay people that have been in the fighting game community for a long time. But as a newbie, watching good commentary that talks about character and tech, as well as the players, I do like hearing about the players, but if I know how the game is being played, I can then take that away and use that myself. And it becomes a learning experience for me as well as a form of entertainment. And that's what I liked about Evo Japan. I learned so much about so many characters in so many games that I wouldn't have got, which I didn't get from Evo US.
Well, I think one thing is for sure. Maybe we might be talking about Evo Japan being the real martial arts tournament and Evo US being the WWE of fighting games.
We have come out with some stonkers today. We really have.
I would like people to just quote me on that one because I said so. Right. And that's going to do it for our discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Let's kick it off. RTG, what are you sharing with everyone this week?
What I'm up to this week, I've got videos going up all week. They're all Let's Play videos. I've got Dragon Ball Fighters. I've got Street Fighter 5. I've got Super Lucky's Tale, Cuphead, Dark Souls 2. So there's just a variety of different Let's Play episodes going up this week. Also, I have 2 reviews, one going up tomorrow evening, the other one going up Thursday evening. They will first be going up on nintendoscene.com, and then the following day, so Thursday and Friday respectively, they'll be going up on ruethegamer.com, and that's going to be, because I can say what it is at least, Bayonetta 1 and 2 for Nintendo Switch.
Sweet. Can't wait to read about that. Yep, and as for me, I'm still doing my reactions, still doing my Ruby stuff. I might be uploading this week a couple of new things that I haven't. I've been talking about doing some experiments, and at the same time, I'm also working on reacting to myself, my past work, as part of my 1,000 sub celebration. So I might be going back to some of my Dark Souls videos just to react to all of the cringy baby rage. So I'm gonna be working on that as well. I can't promise it's gonna be out this week, because besides the baby rage of mine, I have the baby rage in there. But yeah, that's all stuff. I'm working on a lot of new stuff along with the old stuff as well. So yeah. Right. Yeah, that's my wife telling me to lower my voice because it carries. Right. So yeah, that's what I'm a sharing. And yeah, so that's gonna be it. You can find the podcast on Anchor at Anchor FM/Akibana0 or on the Anchor app by searching for Akibana0 and favoriting. That's how you get the podcast in audio form. I keep saying that we're slowly rolling out on iTunes, which hasn't happened yet, but you know, sometime in the future. Right, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Akibana0. I also have a Discord channel now where you could also find RTG as well, and that link is in the description below, along with all of my other social media, including my Patreon, if you want to support this show and everything else that happens here on Akibana0's channel. What about you, RTG? Social links?
Very, very simple with me. You can find everything I do on RueTheGamer.com, including all my social links to my YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and I'm sure there's one thing I've missed. My Facebook page. I knew there was one I missed. And the easiest way to find out absolutely everything I'm doing, go to just below.
The Twitter.
On Twitter. RueTheGamer on Twitter. That's where I chat about gaming and just generally get quite angry about stuff.
Yep. It seems that little swap you and Dillips had kind of like fixed itself now.
Oh, that's good. It's good. I mean, you could go to Dillips's Twitter page to find me, but it wouldn't be the same content.
No, you would probably hear a lot about DSP on Dillips's Twitter.
Yeah.
Which, if you're into that, go to Dillips's Twitter. I mean, yeah, you can find him at Daniel Dillips. Right, and that's your gaming blast for the week. We hope you all have a great week of gaming, and we'll catch you next time.
See you soon.